The letter says, "Congratulations, your salary has changed." It looks like a simple number, but that number will quietly rewrite your commute, your friends, your health, and even your sleep. Level 1. $20,000 a year, the ground floor of full-time work in America. At this level, money is not a tool. It is a countdown clock. Spread over a standard working year, $20,000 comes to about $9.60 an hour. It clears the federal minimum wage, and it clears almost nothing else. Your alarm sounds before sunrise because the bus decides your schedule, not you. At this level, a commute is not measured in miles. It is measured in hours of your life. After payroll taxes, roughly $1,500 lands each month. Watch how fast it disappears. Every line on this budget is a wall, and there is no line called future. Home is a rented room, not an apartment. The people behind the other doors are strangers on the same treadmill, and the lock on your door is your only real asset. The Federal Reserve keeps asking Americans one simple question. Could you cover a surprise $400 expense in cash? Nearly 4 in 10 cannot. You are living inside that statistic. Healthcare at this level is a verb called waiting. You wait out the toothache, ration the prescription, and hope the cough leaves on its own, because the deductible never will. Groceries become arithmetic. You know the price of eggs the way traders know tickers, and the cart is loaded from the bottom of the shelf where the cheap brands live. Sleep becomes the first luxury you cannot afford. Researchers find short sleep clusters at the bottom of the income ladder, where second jobs and night shifts quietly eat the recommended 7 hours. Friendship starts costing money you do not have. You decline the birthday dinner, then the wedding, then the calls. Poverty does not just empty a wallet, it quietly empties a phone. Here is the truth of level 1. You are not managing money. You are managing minutes until the next paycheck, and everything else in your life is scheduled around that countdown. Level 2. $32,000. The wage of full shifts, warehouses, registers, and call centers. You are no longer drowning. You are treading water, and your arms are getting tired. Work is physical at this level, badged, scanned, and timed to the second. The floor counts your steps, and your body is the machine that converts hours into next month's rent. The math improves, barely. About $2,200 arrives each month after taxes. It is enough to stop the bleeding, and not yet enough to start the healing. At this level, you buy your first car because the job demands it. The dealership smiles because your credit score means you will pay for that smile for 6 years. This is what a car costs when banks consider you a risk. The interest alone can equal a year of groceries. Being broke is expensive, and the meter runs in percent. Your month is a minefield of due dates. Rent on the 1st, car on the 7th, insurance on the 15th, one late shift, one sick day, and the dominoes start leaning. You have company on this treadmill. Survey after survey finds a majority of American workers living paycheck to paycheck, including many who earn far more than you. The treadmill has no income limit. Your friends live at this level too, so the friendship runs on splitting things. Split rent, split rides, split meals. Nobody ever says the word poor. Everybody plans around it. You finally have health insurance through work, and you still avoid the doctor. The average single deductible now tops $1,700, which is money you have never seen in one place. Sleep at level 2 is scheduled by the shift board. Close at midnight, open at 8 the next morning. Researchers call it clopening. Your body calls it a debt collected daily. Then one Friday something small happens. $500 stays in the account and survives the whole month. It is the first money you have ever owned instead of owed. Level 3, $45,000. The first level where the floor stops cracking. Money begins doing something new here. It starts absorbing shocks instead of transmitting them. You sign a lease with your name alone on it. The apartment is small and the walls are thin, but for the first time since childhood, silence belongs to you. Solitude has a price tag. The median American asking rent hovers around $1,400 a month, which means your landlord still earns a third of everything you make. The dying car gets replaced by a boring one that simply starts every morning. Nobody photographs it. That is the point. Reliability is the first invisible luxury you ever purchase. From the outside, this level just looks like slightly more money. From the inside, it is something bigger. It is the level where emergencies stop being catastrophes and become inconveniences. A flat tire proves the change. You pay, you grumble, you drive on within the hour. 2 levels ago, this exact tire could have cost you the job that paid for it. Your employer offers a retirement match, 50 cents on every dollar, up to 6% of pay. It is the only guaranteed 50% return on earth, and half your co-workers ignore it. Your circle starts sorting itself. Some friends are still at level 1 and need to borrow. Some are climbing and talk about credit scores. Dinner conversations become a fork in the road. You see a dentist for the first time in years, and the visit is completely boring. That is what money buys at this level. It converts dramas back into appointments. One thing has not changed since level 1. Your time still belongs to someone else, 40 hours minimum, and the raise only changed the price they pay for it, not the ownership. Notice what $45,000 actually purchases. Stability arrives first. Status and free time are not on the menu yet. Every level of salary buys back a different piece of you. Level 4, $62,000, almost exactly the median full-time American wage. Statistically, you now stand in the dead center of the country. It will not feel like the center of anything. The Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks every full-time paycheck in America. The median sits near $1,200 a week. Half the country earns less than you now. Remember level 1. Life develops a floor plan. A 1-bedroom becomes a 2-bedroom. The neighborhood gets a name you say with mild pride, and a mortgage calculator appears in your browser. Here is where the median paycheck actually goes. Notice something. Every category grew with your income, and the leftover barely moved. Economists call it lifestyle creep. Your bank calls it normal. The average American commute runs 27 minutes each way. Across a year, that is more than 200 hours inside a car, unpaid, listening to other people get rich on podcasts. Lifestyle creep does not announce itself at the door. It arrives as slightly better coffee, a slightly newer phone, one streaming service quietly becoming 5. Nothing feels expensive. Everything adds up. Your calendar fills with other people's milestones. Weddings, baby showers, bachelor weekends. Friendship at the median costs roughly $1,000 a year in gifts and flights, and attendance is mandatory. In 2010, researchers famously found happiness plateaus near $75,000. Newer work overturned it. For most people, well-being keeps climbing with income. For the unhappiest, money stops helping. Remember that. A raise arrives this year, 3% wrapped in corporate language. Inflation takes most of it at the door. You celebrate anyway because the ritual matters more than the math. Your stress changes species at this level. It is no longer the fear of running out. It is the pressure of keeping up, and it hums quieter but never switches off. Level 4 hides a fork in the road. The median wage can fund a comfortable treadmill forever or a deliberate escape. Almost everyone chooses the treadmill because it is furnished beautifully. Level 5, $90,000, comfortably inside the top 5th of American earners. This is the level everyone below you calls rich, and absolutely no one at it does. Cross 90,000 and you out-earn roughly 4 in 5 American workers. Statistically, You are approaching the summit. Psychologically, you have just discovered how much taller the mountain really is. The apartment has a view now, or the house has a second bathroom. Visitors say, "Wow," quietly. You notice you have started giving directions to your home with a hint of pride. But the salary has a leash attached. The laptop comes home at night, the phone buzzes on weekends, and dinner learns to wait. $90,000 is also a purchase. It buys you. Audit the upgrades honestly, and the creep has a number. Nearly $1,700 a month now maintains a lifestyle that did not exist 2 levels ago, and it already feels untouchable. Money quietly rearranges your table. Old friends earn half what you do, so you start reaching for checks and softening stories about work. Generosity becomes a form of translation. For the first time, maxing your retirement account is actually possible. The federal limit sits at $23,500 a year. Doing it at this level is how quiet millionaires begin. You start buying your health back. Real groceries, a therapist, shoes that fit, sleep that is scheduled. The body you spent at level 2 starts receiving payments on the debt. Notice what happened to your old fears. The $400 emergency from level 1 would not even change your weekend plans now. Progress is real, it is just never loud. And yet the alarm clock still owns the morning. Comfort is real at level 5. Freedom is not. Miss 6 months of paychecks and this entire life quietly unravels. Level 6. $130,000. 6 figures. The phrase your younger self mistook for the finish line. Welcome to the most expensive optical illusion in personal finance. Say the salary out loud, and it sounds like a rival. Watch it land in your account, and the illusion thins. Taxes took their share before you were ever consulted. 6 figures also tends to live in 6-figure cities. The same salary that is wealth in Ohio is a studio apartment in Manhattan. Geography is the tax nobody itemizes. Every raise from this point arrives thinner than it looks. Your top dollars now face a marginal federal rate near 32% before your state government opens its hand too. This is where golden handcuffs lock. The mortgage assumes this salary. The car assumes it. The neighborhood assumes it. You can no longer afford the smaller life you came from. Somewhere around here, the job stops being what you do and becomes who you are. At parties, you say your title before your name. Nobody notices, including you. Notice what you worry about now. Not food, not rent. You worry about rankings, reorganizations, and whether the person hired last month is faster than you. Scarcity has been replaced by comparison. The body files its complaints. A stiff back from 10 hours of sitting, headaches from screens, a resting heart rate that ticks upward every review season. The salary is billing you. Sleep develops a schedule of its own. Sunday evening arrives with a weight the weekend cannot lift. You are well paid, well fed, well dressed, and quietly tired all the time. Yet the arithmetic here is historic. Live like level 4, and this salary banks $30,000 a year. Almost no one does it because level 6 comes with an audience. Level 7, $200,000, roughly the top 5% of American earners. Money stops being about survival or comfort here. It becomes about one thing: time. Your job title probably contains the word senior, director, or principal now. You produce no visible object all day. You produce decisions, and you are paid for their consequences. A strange thing happens inside your paycheck. Above $176,000, Social Security tax simply stops. The system itself quietly admits you have left the middle class. You begin hiring pieces of your old life away. Someone cleans, someone delivers, someone files the taxes. Each service is a small resignation letter from chores you swore you did not mind. Add it up, and you are spending nearly $1,000 a month to repurchase your own hours. At level 7, time is the first thing you buy and the last thing you have. Here is the trade, printed in the research. A majority of high earners in professional studies report working more than 50 hours a week. You bought services because the job took the hours first. Friendship becomes an act of scheduling. You love your friends and you see them quarterly. The spontaneous call has been replaced by a calendar invite 6 weeks out. Subject line, catch up. Status stops impressing anyone here because everyone in the room out-earns the country. The comparison set resets at every level, which is why no salary has ever felt like enough. If children exist at this level, so does a second mortgage called childcare. In major metros, one infant can cost more per year than a state college. The math bends everything around it. Then comes the discovery that defines level 7. You wake at 3 in the morning with a racing mind and realize this is the first problem money has flatly refused to solve. So the smart ones change strategy here. The salary stops being the prize and becomes the fuel. Every spare dollar is converted into assets because assets work the hours you cannot. Level 8, $350,000. The doorway of the top 1% of wage earners. This is the highest level most people can ever reach with a paycheck alone. The Economic Policy Institute tracks the line closely. Wages near $350,000 place you among the top 1% of American workers. 99 floors are now below you. Look around this level and the badges repeat. Surgeons, law firm partners, staff engineers, rain-making salespeople. Every one of them traded a decade of training or 20 years of nights to stand here. The zip code changes and so does the silence. Streets are wider, trees are older, and the school brochures on your counter are printed on paper, heavier than your first resume. But expenses scale with altitude. Watch what the 1% lifestyle invoices every year. High-income households save surprisingly little because the ladder sells a matching lifestyle at every single rung. The handcuffs upgrade from gold to platinum. Bonuses land in March, equity vests in stages, and leaving in the wrong month means abandoning 6 figures. The company now owns your calendar year. Government becomes your largest annual expense. Between federal, state, and payroll taxes, high-earning employees in coastal states surrender roughly 40% of everything. Wages are the most heavily taxed money in America. Your social circle is now curated by income without anyone deciding it. Dinner parties trade stock tips and school wait lists. Old friends from level 2 need appointments and slowly stop requesting them. Money now maintains the body like an asset. A trainer, a nutritionist, blood work twice a year. It works, mostly. What it cannot buy back is the decade of stress already banked. Time with the people you earn for becomes the scarcest currency. You miss the recital for the closing and tell yourself the closing was for the recital. Both things are true. And here is the ceiling hidden inside level 8. You are rich on paper and still rented by the hour. Stop working, and this entire structure begins dissolving within a year. Level 9, $600,000 a year. You have entered the 1% of households and discovered the strangest secret of the ladder. Salaries this size stop being salaries. Crossing into the top 1% of American households takes roughly $600,000 of yearly income. Out of more than 130 million households, fewer than 1.4 million qualify. Look at the pay stub and the word salary barely applies anymore. Base pay is a minority shareholder in your own income. Bonus and equity now do the heavy lifting. Your bank notices before your friends do. A person with a title calls you by name, and the line you once waited in becomes a door you are walked past. Behind that door is a velvet rope made of zeros. Private banking typically opens near $1 million in investable assets, and its real product is not interest. It is access. Taxes stop being a bill and become a chess game. Deferred compensation, donor funds, harvested losses. You now pay professionals 6 figures over a lifetime to fight the 40%. The rooms change more than the numbers do. Charity galas, advisory boards, closed dinners. Information reaches this level a year before it reaches the news, and information compounds faster than money. Philanthropy enters the vocabulary sincerely and strategically at once. The donation helps the shelter, trims the tax bill, and buys a seat at tables where the next opportunity is quietly discussed. Rank what income actually purchases up here and notice the inversion. Access and information rate platinum. Peace rates lower than it did 3 levels ago. The ladder never advertises that column. Healthcare becomes a subscription with a human attached. Concierge medicine, around $5,000 a year, means your doctor answers the phone. Waiting rooms now happen to other people. Run the math and you could stop working within a decade. Almost nobody at level 9 ever stops. The income was the goal for so long that it quietly became the identity. Level 10, $1 million a year, the number your entire climb pointed toward, earned by fewer than 2 workers in every 1,000. It is not what you think it is. Social Security wage records make it plain. Roughly 1 in 500 American workers reports $1 million in annual wages. This is the statistical roof of employment itself. The residents are chief executives, top surgeons, star athletes, and the rainmakers whose names bring in clients. Notice the pattern. Every one of them is paid for being irreplaceable, not busy. Then the cuts arrive. On a 7-figure wage in a high-tax state, nearly half evaporates before it lands. $1 million salary is the most taxed money in the country. The life looks unbound and is scheduled to the minute. Board meetings, earnings calls, client dinners across time zones. You own 3 homes, and your calendar owns you in all of them. Up here, friendships are few and verified, because every new hand extended holds an invoice. Trust becomes the scarcest asset on the balance sheet and the loneliest line to rebuild. Say it plainly, because the ladder never will. Even here, at the summit of salaries, the money stops the moment you do. That is the definition it never escaped. Meanwhile, the truly wealthy were never on this ladder at all. They own the buildings, the brands, and the payrolls that fund these salaries, and ownership never asks anyone for a raise. The tax code says the quiet part in numbers. Work is taxed at up to 37%. Ownership is taxed at 20%. Borrowing against assets is often taxed at nothing. And that is the final lesson of level 10. The salary ladder ends at a window, and through the glass you can finally see the owner's staircase that was there all along. Look back down the ladder now. Every level rewrote your commute, your friends, your body, and your nights. The number on the letter was never the point. The life attached to it was. One map before you go. Every level buys back a different hostage. Stability comes cheap, time comes dear, and peace is never actually on sale. Plan your climb around that. So, climb deliberately. At every level, convert money into assets, and time a little sooner than feels comfortable, because the last thing every salary quietly changes is how much of your life is left.